All right, we're back here on Couch Coach Live. Once again, we are back. It's been a while, so we're back here at it. We have a special guest in the building, our guy Bars. What's going on, Bars?
Hey, Coach, how you doing? Thank you for having me, fellas. It's been a while since I've been on a pod, and there's no better pod I'd rather be on than Couch Coach Live, So
Right.
I'm excited to be here, man.
Appreciate it. What's going on, Maui?
Oh man, maintaining, got my wheels starting to roll, trying to make some moves to be like you, superstar. You know what I mean? You my inspiration. Our anniversary is yesterday.
Oh yeah, when we went on the
Yeah.
road,
right,
yeah,
right,
5 years ago,
right, right,
yeah.
right.
What
But
you say, Bars?
Congrats.
Yeah.
right. Good to see you, two bars, man. Good to see you. Good to
Good to
see
see
you.
you again,
Yeah.
too, man.
Yeah, so we got a great show lined up for you tonight. Obviously, today is the start of the NFL League New Year. So we'll get into the free agency frenzy that is. Obviously we know Bars is gonna, he got his thing, him being a Giants fan. So we'll get his takes on Darren Waller going there.
hmm
Got some other takes. The Carolina Panthers on the clock. Then also we'll get into some college basketball. We'll give our Final Four picks, our thoughts on Jim Boeheim retiring, and in the
hmm
wake of learning the information about Vince Young spending $5,000 a month at the Cheesecake Factory. I want to know your guys' thoughts on what restaurant would you spend your $5K a month on. So we got a great show lined up for you tonight. What we're gonna do, we're gonna keep that intro, and we will be right back. We're back here on Couch Coach Live, and once again, happy new league year, fellas.
Same to you.
Yeah, ditto. So we're back at it here. So before we kind of get into like what we kind of talked about, what we were going to talk about as far as headlines for the day and whatever, get you kind of a little bit caught up on some news. There's been some two running back, acquisitions so far. Miles Sanders heading to Carolina, and was it James? Who was it? Who was it? What's the Jamal Williams now is playing with the New Orleans Saints. So some fluid information. And I always say, when I grow up, I want to be like Ian Rappaport and all those insiders, where I'm in the middle of a live broadcast and my phone rings and I have to like kind of get out the way. So that's one of my goals in life potentially.
Me too.
Shoot. But so we're back here at it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, and it's funny how the league New Year and all this stuff is happening. It's almost like this trade that happened Friday with the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears feel like ancient history. But we gotta definitely discuss it that the Panthers are on the clock. So obviously in this trade where the Chicago Bears had the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 draft, they traded away to Carolina Panthers in exchange for, so pretty much the Bears got the 9th overall pick, the 61st pick in this year's draft, the Carolina Panthers 2024 first round draft pick, and DJ Moore. So Bars, I'm gonna get your thoughts first on this haul for the Carolina Panthers. I mean, for the Chicago Bears, and who would you select? With this number one pick if you're the Carolina Panthers.
So when I first heard of this trade, I honestly was a little underwhelmed for the Bears because I'm not sure what it was. I think it was the 2 second-round picks, one of them being in 2025. It's like God knows what that's really worth. But then after some time passed and I was able to digest it, I realized, you know what? They really did great here because you had
Hmm.
the rumors going on where it was saying, are we trading the number 1 pick? Are we trading Justin Fields? I wasn't believing any of that. To me, that was just a way to hyping up the value of that pick. And they got away with it because not only do you get the number 9 pick, which you can do whatever you want with that, you get an offensive lineman, you get another edge rusher to
Right.
complement Trayvon Edmonds, who just got signed, elite linebacker. He's 25, not even going to turn 30 by the end of this deal. I'm kind of upset the Giants didn't get him, but that's all right. You're getting the 2nd-round pick this year which is basically a 1st-round pick. It's still in the top 10 of the 2nd round, and all GMs in the NFL look at that as almost a 1st-round pick. You just don't get the 5th-year option with it. And then you get the 1st-round pick next year, which is almost guaranteed a top 10 pick because when they go quarterback, they still got a lot of holes in that Panthers depth chart. Yes, they just signed a running back with Miles Sanders, but then it's really who are we throwing to? Terrace Marshall Jr., he has some potential, but I don't think he's really going to blow up to become anything due to the young quarterback who's going to get drafted. You just got to question, is Andy Dalton going to be starting a couple games maybe just so they don't have a Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson situation going on there? But you really love it for the Bears because even with that 2nd pick in 2025, it's the draft, Picks are gold. It's fool's gold realistically because they mean nothing until you draft the player. But other than that, man, you can't be mad with it. They got their quarterback. They got him a number 1 weapon in DJ Moore, who is one of the more
Right.
underrated wide receivers in my opinion because he was stuck in the hellhole that is the
Right.
Carolina Panthers. You could just build a whole team, man. Ryan Poles did one of the best jobs of the offseason.
Right.
He is running away with the offseason. If he doesn't win Executive of the Year, I'll be shocked. Now,
Right.
who the Panthers go with this pick? Man, I don't know because you would think it's Bryce Young. You would think it's CJ Stroud. They just signed Andy Dalton. Like I said, something tells me they're going to go crazy, man. They're going to go for the potential pick. I think Richardson might be the pick, man. Call me crazy. It's Carolina. They're looking for a big long-term solution. And, hey, if they mess up the pick, like I said, it's Carolina. I wouldn't be
Right.
shocked. So why not just go balls to the wall? You gave up your future for this pick. Might as well go for the guy with the highest ceiling.
Right.
The combat stud. Okay.
Right.
Val, your thoughts on this trade, and then who you think the Panthers should get at number 1?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really know what the Panthers gonna get, but I really want to talk about Fields. If I pay attention to what the league, like the Lions, the Eagles, Miami, it seemed like even the 49ers, you know what I mean? It seemed like we got this young quarterback. We invested in him. Let's really invest in him. Let's give Fields a chance. He has the potential. So let's put the things around him. Let's try to win this. I mean, he's the prototype of almost what majority. I think the prototype quarterback right now is Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Scrambling quarterback that can pass, that's franchise. You know what I'm saying? And I think the 49ers had a quarterback that was like that got hurt, but they still got Purdy. I think the Eagles got a system with their quarterback. So I feel when I seen that, I said, okay, even the Lions, because we was a little excited at the beginning of the season. So I feel like the Bears was like, let's give Fields a chance. Let's put some pieces around them, because if there ever was a chance for you to try to win that division, it's now, because we really don't know what's going on with those packs. And the Vikings, I think, kind of underachieved. I think they was in the same position they was this season, but we had them maybe having a chance to go ahead more, and I felt like they kind of underachieved, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Or they at the same level. They're not moving forward. I think they're most likely moving backwards. So that's my field. I feel like, as right now, hey, Fields, we're gonna give you this chance. It's up to you to do what you do. If you don't do it, we have some scenarios where we can make a change. What you said? What pick is it in 2025?
It's their first round, right? No, it was on
second
round. Yeah, second round. Yeah, 2025.
You know what I'm saying? So it's they could still build for their future and move on from Fields if they wanted to. You know what I mean? And I like that. I like when you had a first round pick, you say, hey, we got a quarterback, we got this. Let me get rid of this, get some draft picks. That's how you know they really trying to figure out a way to move forward and stop just getting quarterback after quarterback or this or that because they saying, that's what the big dogs are saying you're supposed to get. No, let's just use this and get some pieces that we really, really need. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it. I don't know what the Carolina Panthers are going to do. They talking about getting Dalton, and it's not even no disrespect. I don't have to be there, but it's almost like a waste of time. Like, you've already been giving up everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like what are you really doing? Like, So I don't know who they're going to get. I guess it's up to you, Coach. Tell me, because I'm like,
yeah. So I think from the Bear perspective, great pick because obviously not great pick as far as great trade in this case.
Trade,
get the move down 8 spots, and I think that's a great opportunity to get the guy that they really want without essentially, not settling for that situation, but they know they can get compensation for that, and then also coupled with a DJ Moore. And I think that's a great move for him. And now you just look at kind of their wide receiver room. Now you look at him. Then you also on the other side got Chase Claypool. I think now he is. These guys. They wanted to, and then he got Mooney as their slot. So I think they got some great opportunities. To do some things there. He got some weapons, and like you said, Mal, your point where if this goes bad, you got two first round picks next year. You can package that, and maybe Caleb Williams can fall into your lap. In 2024 if somebody's desperate. So you have the
Lamar Jackson.
Well, something's gonna have to happen now if they want to do that too. Yeah, if he around next year, for that.
Right.
But yeah, and I think where they at least they're giving him, I think, essentially a year, and then I think next year, hey, it could be a possibility that they can package those picks and go somewhere else with it. But I like the move by the Panthers as well. I think it's just one of those where even at 9. They want to get into these top 4 quarterbacks. These top 4 quarterbacks are going to be gone. So they had to make that move. So, and obviously, with this, and it's interesting though. I do like the fact that they did bring in Andy Dalton. I think he's going to be like the bridge the gap guy, like you say, Bars, where you may see him in a sense, maybe start the first couple of weeks, maybe or so, or what have you. So I like that. But I think the quarterback that they're going to get with the Carolina Panthers is going to be Bryce Young. I think to me, you have to get Bryce Young. I know people look at his height. He's 5'9", 5'10". They're gonna say what they want to say. But I think you bring in a guy like Bryce Young, obviously, a winner, Alabama, a former Heisman Trophy winner. He'll put butts in seats, like you said, and even to your point, Bars, where Anthony Richardson can put butts in seats as well. But I definitely think it's gonna be Bryce Young.
What's the Panthers wide receiver core? Who is he throwing to if they get Bryce Young or
no one good,
non-existent? It was DJ Moore, but I think
that's why I bring it up.
They can, and I think that position they can get some stuff in the draft. And then they can also get some free agency, because like you said, now it's really gonna be dynamic, especially now you bring in like a Miles Sanders in the fray. So I think he'll definitely help in that as well. And then they got a pretty good defense. So
they just signed Hayden Hurst, I think. Earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got Hayden Hurst.
Target for rookie.
I forgot about it.
He had one good year, but it was Joe Burrow, So that's my question: is it Joe Burrow or is it Hayden Hurst is finally living up to that expectation?
I know because he was a dud in Cleveland.
Yeah. No, I thought he was gonna blow up in Cleveland.
I thought so too. But we gotta remember, we're allowed to say this, but his quarterback is now my current quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. So we kind of like gotta get this guy a disclaimer, like he was going through some stuff in Cleveland. So, but I don't. But that's the thing where I forgot about Hayden Hurst. I see, and that's to show you just how much this this league new year so much like activity, you forget about it. That was a sneaky good move by Carolina Panthers, but
Right.
yeah. So
But I was really happy with the Bears move though, because like I looked at their division: Vikings 13-4, Lions 9-8, the Packers was 8-9, and the Bears was 3-14. And I'm like, I always felt like when I watched them play, that it's just like they just needed a few weapons, just a few little things to put there, and so they could build together, and they can easily win the division or at least be second. You know what I mean?
It might. I mean, they get there because now I definitely like had a Detroit loss. They lost Jamal Williams. I hated that because he fits that Dan Campbell like fight kneecaps like type mentality, and that's gonna be a tough loss for them. But they end up getting Montgomery, so I don't know. It doesn't soften the blow, but
they lost Montgomery.
Oh, that's right. No.
They got Khalil Herbert.
Oh, that's right. No, I'm talking about Detroit.
Oh, Detroit? Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit got him. Yeah, I was going to say like, hold on. Yeah. But yeah, Detroit got him. Yeah, that's what I said as far as softening the blow from them losing Jamal Williams. But yeah, so and once again, the saga goes on.
Oh my God! Right.
With our boy Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers, obviously, he had to make his grandiose, as far as his, talked on Pat McAfee show earlier today. So he pretty much just talked about like the whole Dark Summit thing, all that, about him potentially retiring and whatever. But he did say, and I quote, that he intends to play for the New York Jets. And then obviously, this is his way of kind of telling his story about the rumors about him essentially, as far as having a wish list, and then even mentioned about Adam Schefter texting him, and he pretty much told him, "Hey, lose my number." So, Bars, your thoughts on this Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, stealing your thunder in the New York, New Jersey area. So, what you got?
So, I mean, it's as a Giants fan, I'm whatever about it because it's the Jets. So, part of me feels like they're going to find a way to screw it up. Not only that, but, Rodgers got a little Kyrie in him. And as a Nets fan, I'm getting the same vibes in this area. But, shout out to all my Jets fans. They're happy. It's a great move. Like, there was no other move here, realistically. It was, you could go for Lamar, but you put all your chips in for Aaron Rodgers. So for you to finally get a little confirmation, I'm still a little skeptical until pen is on paper and you see them in Jets green. But they had no other choice at this point. And he makes you an infinitely great team, automatically in the playoffs. I think the expectation is to at least at a minimum win one game, if not make it to the conference finals. But they're in the AFC, man. So not only are they in the AFC, they're in one of the toughest divisions in the AFC with the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, who have also been making moves sneakily. And aside from that, you also got Miami, who it's almost like they knew Rodgers was coming because they said, okay, how can we contradict this? We're going to throw Jalen Ramsey on the opposite side of Xavier Howard. So it's, they're guaranteed to be a third best in the division. I'm probably going to put them somewhere in the 1-2 because I don't trust Tua's health. But it was the move they had to make. It's just you got to hope it all works out, all the drama aside. And hopefully he takes in these young players because, he has his wish list and he's bringing all his guys in because he clearly doesn't want it to take time for it to mesh. But that just proves he's not Brady, and Jets fans to temper their expectations because Brady spent the time. He had guys come over his house. He was on high school fields throwing to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and whoever else for hours of a day in the days of April. Rodgers, something tells me he's not going to come to camp during volunteer OTAs, So let's see what happens. Let's see if this brings a little fire to him. Let's see if he even shows up to New York.
This stuff. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
Oh, no, good.
I'm so sorry. This sounds. This smells like I've seen this or smelled this before. Don't this remind you of Brett Favre a little bit from back in the day when they wanted to start Rodgers and Brett was like, I still want to play. And what team did he play for? Did he play for the Vikings? Did he go to the Vikings?
With the Jets first, and then
Really?
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so weird how these organizations keep doing the same thing over and over. Why are you doing that? You said, what was it, last year? They drafted all this great talent, but you want to bring nonchalant Aaron Rodgers, not even a guy, not saying he's a bad guy. He seemed like he's really cool. But from what I went through today, all of them said he's not one of those guys that have a relationship with the younger guys. It ain't like he necessarily trying to and I don't know. This is just what they were saying. It seems like he doesn't have a good relationship with the media except for like a couple of people. I learned that today too. But they was like, he's not really the type that's going to sit there with the young guys and try to teach them and bring them on and show them. He's just not that type of player. You know what I mean? So why would you want to get him and make it a circus? You're already the Jets. You know what I mean? I just think they should go mid-young or just younger and just build a team up from there. Well, I don't even know. And to my point, I think he should retire. Like, what else does he really have to prove? Like, he doesn't need the money. He's just doing it because it's like Phil Jackson when he went to the Knicks. He really didn't want to do it, but they threw him a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And gave him a lot of power. And it's like, I can't turn this down. If they're going to give me everything I want, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? I just hope that the league don't necessarily turn on him like they did Brett, because I remember that game against the Saints when Brett was playing for the Vikings, and that was horrible. You know what I mean? That's just my take on it. I just feel like I really think he's going to retire. But like today, they were saying he's extremely close to signing with the Jets. It's just some like money or some type of thing that's going on with the Packers.
Yeah, it does feel like deja vu. It feel like 2008 all over again.
Right.
I'm at a point where I can understand where the Jets are coming from, because obviously you think about it, they are quarterback play away. I mean, a decent quarterback performance away from actually being in the playoffs. You know, obviously you look at this year. So obviously I understand where they come from and get like a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Now, if this is going to work, I mean, I don't know. But I think you would take that chance compared with a Zach Wilson, which we already know you keep the tires on him twice. It's just not going to work, you know. So you look at it from that standpoint. Yes, I get why they wanted to get Aaron Rodgers. The thing about it is I'm just really curious as far as what the conversation will be. That's where I'm really curious as far as what assets that the Jets will have to give up. Now, if it's like you said, you know, if it's draft picks, I'm a little leery about it. Maybe this year draft pick, I'm cool with that. But anything beyond 2024, I don't want no parts of it, because I think this could be like a one and done type of year, where I don't necessarily think he's going to be their long-term solution. You know, I think he's going to probably be 1 or 2 years, maybe one at best. But I definitely think this was a monumental moment in television as well, happening today, because I think it's just one of those where this is a turning point where now these athletes are now going to tell their stories and tell their narratives on shows like this, and pretty much saying F the Adam Schefters, F the insiders, and all that. That was a big F you to all them, because it's funny, and I think he did this because you think about it, the situation with Tom Brady last year, because essentially Adam Schefter broke that and like, look, dude, like, why are you breaking something, my own story?
Right.
So I think, you know, people are growing frustrated by that. It's almost like you reporting stuff, and it's just like, you know, so I get what, and even when Aaron Rodgers was talking about the situation, I kind of understood like where he was coming from, you know, being there for 18 years. And he went on and talked a great deal about everything that happened in Green Bay. Thanked a lot of people. So I think that was just like his farewell song, and he did it his way. So I think that's the beautiful thing about what happened today, where even though it was long and drawn out, even though the part of him going to the Jets was pretty quick for the most part, but I definitely think that he, he told his story and he did it his way. So I like what the Jets are doing. Like you said, that's another one. I've been high on the Jets for a minute. Obviously, Joe Douglas from my backyard here in Virginia,
Right.
and Mackay and all those guys, and so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so this is gonna be fun. And shout out to our guy Joe Douglas for pulling off a deal like this.
Do you think that that the situation is trying to be parallel to what Tom Brady did? Because I could tell the difference if you know what I mean. Like it seemed like when Tom Brady went to the Bucks, everybody wanted to play with him. That was like a vet. You know what I mean? It seemed like everybody was willing to go down there and get like a play with them for the minimum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it will be the same way?
To an extent, but it's kind of one of those things. Even like I'm glad he did the spell about the whole thing about the wish list. I like because a lot of those guys you can't fit, especially with that wide receiver core they got. You can't bring, obviously they got Lazard, but you can't bring Odell. You already got you got tons of right. And that's the thing where, but I think there will be a time if some guys will could be that, especially in the event if there's some injuries or some on that depth, because they are already kind of deep in a lot of positions, like running back wise, wide receiver wise. Because we're thinking, what was the kid from Ole Miss? I'm thinking he's probably going to head to Green Bay. I don't know. I think he stays. I think he's gonna stay. That's right. I think he's gonna stay. I just thought about that.
Corey Davis is getting cut. I think, to be honest, I think it might be too much. I don't think they signed Odell, but I think a guy who has just a Rodgers receiver written all over him, to me, Adam Thielen, I think might end up on the job. I could see him as the type of guy that Rodgers is just like, look, you know what you're doing. You run a route. You got the hands. Yeah. Get in there. So
yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, he'd be perfect in that offense.
So man, I don't know. It's the only thing that scares me with the Rodgers thing, like you said, he didn't go too deep into this Jets thing, Coach. What scares me though is he said, "I intend to join the Jets." That word "intend" to me sticks out just right much,
because you can intend to do something and then it does not happen.
Exactly.
That's the scary thing. Like I can intend to go down the street and grab me some dinner, but I might fall asleep.
Yeah.
Or I might be like, you know what? I'm really not that hungry. I'll just wait tomorrow.
See, man, that's the only thing. So that's why I'm thinking Ivory Maui. He's not, to me, it's not going to be the same as the Bucks. Because also the Bucks, they had a young team, but their team wasn't as young as this Jets team is. Their team had a few vets in there. It was a little more built ready for just a Tom Brady to come in and take
even
over.
The coaching staff. Like when I looked at the coaching staff and everything on the Bucks, it was like players that's probably like 10, maybe 7 years out the league. You know what I'm saying? Like just like it was people that I'm like, damn, he played with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like big homie and little homie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was just like, they probably having a good time that year when they won the Super Bowl. Cause I was just like, and I just feel this is different. And there's all right, this is what I'm saying. Do you feel like it's just a publicity stunt, or he just trying to get the Packers to do something, or he just playing with the program, trying to trend? Everything is social media, like just to keep it going. Because the other thing, I don't think he's like gonna go to camp or anything like that. Tom Brady went to camp and shit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Tom Brady was into that type of stuff.
And he missed what 9 or 11 days, I forgot, last year.
Yeah, he didn't show up for a while. He missed almost like the whole first month, I think it was.
Yeah, very Brett Favre-ish.
He missed it. But obviously it was they deemed it was personal. That might have been
right.
Hit allegedly personal.
Right.
He was gone for 9 days.
And they already said he's not doing it this year. Wherever he go, he's not. They already said it.
Oh no! We was talking about Tom Brady. No,
right. I know. I think they already said Rodgers ain't.
Rodgers has missed training camp before.
But I know they said his mentality is he's not really trying to do.
He don't do OTAs for sure. Like OTAs, which are voluntary but mandatory. It's like the Tom Coughlin thing. Like if you're 5 minutes early, you're voluntold. Yeah, you're right. Voluntold. Like you're voluntold to come. But they force you. They try to force you in it, but Yeah, and I get what like the Jets. I get it. Like they're so close to making the playoffs. They just need a good quarterback. I understand you're just being desperate. I understand them being desperate.
It's like Vince McMahon saying, "I'm calling the NWO." Like you know what I'm saying? We were so close to making to the playoffs, man.
Cause right, and
Uh,
you really sit down, and you think about it. If they would have had some decent quarterback play from the beginning to the end, this team would be in the playoffs.
wasn't that Zach's
Hell,
first year or second year?
second year, because you think about it, they 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 should have beat the damn Dolphins. The Dolphins shouldn't even got in there because remember,
Right.
because what's it? Skylar Thompson. I forgot what was their quarterback. Man, I definitely didn't think he was going to win that football game to making the playoffs. But I get it. I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures, and if you're a Jets fan, you just follow this. You just follow this Jet saga with a bag of popcorn and just deal with it.
Man, y'all better go get y'all quarterback. Stop messing with Aaron Rodgers.
It'll be all right.
Boy, yo, better let it go. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I'm curious about what Green Bay is going to what the Jets gonna have to give up. That's where I'm really like kind of curious about all of it. Like, because sometimes we can say in theory now that makes sense, but like you said, if you're giving away 2 firsts, it ain't worth it. Like I said, if you get any, like I would more so suited to them getting assets than actually draft picks. Like I said, if they get a 2024 pick, I wouldn't do it because you're gonna need a quarterback in 2024 potentially, more likely.
I think the biggest issue right now is one, I don't think the Jets want to give up that 13th pick. I think they want to keep on to that pick. Joe Douglas is trying to do his usual trade magic, give up a 7th and some random guy for an all-star. I don't know how he does it. I'll give him that salute. He's a trade wizard. I think he's trying to figure out a way not to give up that 13th pick. And I think it's also Green Bay doesn't want to hold on to this. I think it's going to be like a $40 million, $50 million cap hit or something. Like, you can't just trade a guy and then you're essentially, it's not you're paying him, but you're on the books paying him. So you just have a wasted spot for no reason. I think that's really where all the holdup comes.
And that's why with the Jets, say like, I don't care. Like,
yeah, exactly.
This popping circumstance, hey, we'll just be sitting here just chilling. Like, yeah, because you think about it, they ain't not on the hook. Because everybody's like, oh, let's get Lamar. All right, you want to pay him $250 million guaranteed? Well, you can get him for a year and for damn near free.
Exactly, and it's not just the $250 million guarantees, the 2 picks. That's the biggest part about Lamar.
Right. But yeah. But so obviously, and it's funny, it was so smart for the Giants to make this move yesterday because they at least had one day in the headlines. Because the rest of the summer and on now, it's gonna be Jets dominated the New York Post and all those publications in New York. So Darren Waller heads to the New York Giants. So obviously, tight end Darren Waller was traded to the New York Giants for a 3rd round pick, actually, which was Kansas City's pick because of the Kadarius Toney pick. So in theory, you got thinking to yourself, you traded Toney to get Darren Waller. That's to me, that's impressive. But Bartone, your thoughts on this Darren Waller trade?
Speaking of trade wizards, Joe Shane, man, and Shane we trust. Like you said, we had one day where we were on the headlines, and you know what, Coach? The Giants have been bad long enough where I've learned I'm okay not being the headlines. Right. I'm fine with us doing these little moves. Once again, shout out Joe Shane for signing the linebacker Bobby Okurai. I'm not sure what his name is, but I'm gonna figure it out by the season because he's gonna be the best linebacker. But this Darren Waller trade, I think it was the best move possible. Aside from just how talented the guy is, my favorite part of the trade is Joe Shane structured the deal where we have an out after this first year. So if it doesn't work out, because Darren Waller, due to the past season, he was injured. He had some hamstring injuries. I think the season prior to that as well, he had a couple injuries that kind of kept him off a game or two. But Other than that, I think this is an amazing trade because the free agent market for wide receiver was not that great. Aside from Jacoby Myers, who already signed with the Raiders, the next wide receiver was Darius Slayton, and I'm sure many Giants fans will agree with me. I don't want Darius Slayton back on my team. So our wide receiver core is only Hodgins, Sterling Shepard, who God knows what you're going to get from him after an ACL tear that got followed by prior a Achilles tear. I think it was the same leg too. So God knows what you're getting from him. And then our third receiver is, I don't even remember his name because that's how bad it is over here. And you're, Wandell. Wandell's been injured. So Wandell just started sparking before his injury. We don't even know what we got in Wandell. So our wide receiver core, as the entire league knows, possibly may be one of the worst cores in the entire league. So the fact that we got Waller, who's going to be that big target, number one go-to guy, and we could complement Danny Bellinger, who is the rookie tight end we drafted last year, who sneakily, I think, is going to be a great tight end. He already got compliments from Travis Kelce and other top-end tight ends who said this kid has real talent. I think we could run the duo tight end set with those two.
Right.
It supplements our wide receiver issues, and we have Saquon coming out the backfield with Danny Dimes and his feet. I think it was a great move, especially for a third-round pick, as you said, Coach. We traded Kadarius Toney, essentially. Kadarius Toney was feeling some type of way because he was tweeting, laughing and stuff yesterday. I think a bunch of Giants fans were probably just raining on his parade. But, hey, man, sounds like he's still thinking about us. He sounds like he's a little bit salty. I give the overall trade for the Giants, though, I want to say it's a B+, A-. I don't see how you can hate this trade as a Giants fan, especially with the one-year route. It's a high reward, low risk kind of trade, and I hope I end up buying a Waller jersey after this year.
Potentially, yeah.
I intend to buy Waller jersey after this year.
Your thoughts, Mallory?
Great pickup, man. I looked up the contract, and you're right. You only can, if it's 1 year, and if it doesn't work out, you can get rid of him. I'm just trying to figure out. He was basically, I know he wasn't there much, and maybe Josh McDaniels felt like, we can go ahead and let him go. Because I just didn't understand. I was shocked when they let him go. You know what I mean? But I know he got hurt a lot. That's one thing I remember. He balled, but he got hurt a lot.
20 games in the last 2 seasons he's played.
Right. And it seemed like there's some personal stuff going on between him and McDaniels also. I saw some stuff, and because I was watching the show and they was like, hold up, he just signed a 3-year deal, last year? So what would they let him go, And one thing I'm noticing about, regardless of what they say about the NFL, these dudes are going to get hurt, and that's got to be in the contract. It doesn't make a difference. Everybody's going to get hurt. You know what I mean? So I was a little shocked about that, but hey, man, great pickup. One thing about today's show, I noticed it made me look really deep with these contracts, and it just seems like the way they're doing these contracts is like this was a 3-year deal. You're trading to you guys, and if it don't work out, you ain't got to get him you can let him go on his 3rd year now. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of guys I've seen that has those in the contract. You know what I mean? There's another guy that we're going to talk about, almost the same thing.
See, I think that's also just part of Joe Schoen because it seems like he doesn't like giving these long-term contracts without having some sort of an out or some sort of option, because they did the same thing with Danny Jones. His 2nd year, we could hop out after that year. His 3rd year, we have an out as well. And after that 3rd year, it's really when we decide we want to extend him or take that 4th year. His 4th year, we take no money if we cut him on that 4th year. So it seems like that's the kind of contract Shane likes to structure because he doesn't like to tie himself down and get ourselves in salary cap hell, essentially.
Right.
Those are the type of trades that makes Morris Smith like, oh man. But he hates those type of ones. But I think in theory, yeah, this is a great move for the Giants. Obviously, now you have that number one target. And that's the thing where you look at that Giants team who made the playoffs, won a game in Minnesota, and think to yourself like, man, you get a target in Darren Waller, which that's the thing where if he's healthy, and that's and that's a big if, and we know it's football, it's a contact sport, so. But if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to pay big dividends for this Giants team. And it's just weird, like as far as because this is kind of one of those things that kind of came out of blue, because he was never really a part of any trade rumors or there was no
last year.
He was right, and that's the thing where he's part of it last year, but then I figured maybe this year it might be a little bit different. But I was definitely shocked that he did that. And I know a lot of people saying because of the whole he wasn't invited, Josh McDaniel wasn't invited to the wedding. And I'm just like, I mean, no, I mean, I know it's satire, but I mean, it does make for a great joke. But it's just weird. That was kind of one of those where that was kind of out of left field, but great move for the Giants. I mean, like you said, it's a high reward, low risk. And you just can't go wrong with that. So,
is there some good tight ends in the draft?
Some solid tight ends. Nothing
Darren
really.
Waller.
No Darren Waller, which
for a third,
right?
Like
which
fourth because it's Kansas City third.
Well, it's really not even your third. Really, you think about it, you really got Kadarius Toney for Darren Waller. You can't beat that. A guy who you thought was gonna be one of your top receivers, and you flip him. And now you get a guy who will be your number one target, and that's proven, because at one point Kadarius Toney had more yards. We had more yards than Kadarius Toney for a good while. I'm like for a good little minute.
He still hasn't been doing too hot over there in Kansas City. I mean, he had the big punt return and he had the one touchdown in the Super Bowl. Yes, it's the Super Bowl, but I mean, all three of us could go out there for Kansas City and Mahomes will find a way to give us a touchdown.
Right, for sure.
So it's show me something essentially because I was a big fan. I thought when he went to KC, I was like, damn, we screwed up because he's going to become a top 5 wide receiver in that kind of offense. I just don't think he's got it off the field. I think it's his personality or something.
Yeah.
I'm playing, I don't know him. I'm playing like dime therapist basically right now. But it's just essentially, it doesn't seem like he could get his head together, especially when you're playing with the best quarterback of all time. I was expecting a huge season from him, and he kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Waller have an issue with a substance abuse a while back?
Years ago, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Coming into the league, but that he was.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him an excuse, but he was kind of a nobody when that was happening. I think he was in the wide receiver position before he decided to transition.
Because he was with the Ravens then, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was on their practice squad.
He's on their practice squad. Yeah.
Right.
And then I forgot who it was. Someone on.
I'm really just saying it because I just still thought it was a little weird, especially when you pick up. Did they make the trade before they picked up the quarterback?
No, we got Danny Jones first, and then we picked up Darren Waller.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was definitely interesting trade. But like I said, that was a hell of a move for the New York Football Giants.
There you go.
You're the reason why we're not in the play. We didn't make the playoffs and stuff.
Yeah, man. As far as you got to talk more better about your team, and your team did really, really good last season. Y'all had the best. As bad as your division has been smelling for years, y'all had the best division. Arguably the best division last season.
I'm taking it humbly, man, because we were in the pits of hell for some time. So I'm one step at a time. This
right?
New year. I honestly thought we were going to take a step back this year because our schedule gets harder. I didn't think we were having Saquon back, but with all the moves that I didn't think we were going to have cap space, but with what Joe Shane did with Daniel Jones' contract, where it's only like a $17 million cap hit this year, man's a wizard so far. I see no reason. We have the coach of the year. We have an offensive coordinator who essentially could have taken the Arizona job, but he didn't get hired because he told them, no, I want to do it this way. And they said no. So there you go. And we had Wink Martindale, who also got offered a head coach, interviewed, and he didn't make it. So, I mean, I have full faith in this front office. But like I said, I'm fine being not on the headlines. Right. All these low-key signings. Like I said, the linebacker from Indy, I think, was an amazing signing because we got him for less than Edmonds, and we got him just slightly above TJ Edwards, which was exactly who I wanted to sign. And he played against us, actually, Bobby O. when he played against us, he had like 17 tackles against us. I remember watching that game going, who the hell is this guy? Because you're down 40 and you're still running like a freaking demon out of hell. And hey, man, now he's on my squad. So, like you said, I'm happy, but I'm humbly taking it one day at a time because I know the moment the Giants screw something up where, something starts going downhill, we're going to have a lot of haters. I just know how it is in the NFC least,
Yeah. So, from one player that went from Vegas to New Jersey, we got Jimmy G headed to the Raiders. So, Bars, your thoughts on Jimmy G going to the Raiders?
Man, what gets me upset is this is just another showcasing of a Belichick disciple thinking they're Belichick. You let Waller go. Josh Jacobs is pissed off. You let Derek Carr go, who's clearly a better quarterback, in my opinion, than Jimmy G. Yes, Jimmy G's made it further, but he's had far better coaching and far better teams. It's just, man, like, I don't know what you think you're going to end up doing here with Jimmy G coming into the fold. But he is a winning quarterback, like I said. So maybe he does find a way to work in Josh McDaniels' system. Josh McDaniels only got him because he's been in his system.
Right.
Exactly why he also got Jacoby Myers. So it's going to be the baby Patriots again, as we've seen in Detroit with Matt Patricia and any other Bill Belichick disciple that's just not coming to mind right now. It's just not going to work out. And you would think Josh McDaniels learned his lesson, but clearly he didn't. So, cheers to the season, I guess. I'm already having them at what, 4-13, maybe?
Hey, so you got faith in Lil Bill?
Man, like how? You know what? It's the visor. Maybe if he rocks that visor a little tighter, I'd feel confident.
You know what? Brandon Marshall not walking through this door. Jay Cutler's not walking through this door.
It's not looking good, man. I don't get what they're doing. I don't see the thought process or how they think they're improving. But hey, it's Oakland,
Yeah, and I told y'all I'm so glad Mike Mayock is not a part of this. I told y'all free Mike Mayock, and I've been saying that. So y'all can't blame Mike Mayock on this disaster. Mal, your thoughts on Jimmy G?
Bars is like setting up everything. We know why he got him. You know what I mean? You know what he said? He went in there and said, "Look, man, if y'all just trust me and let me get some of the guys that understand what I'm doing, and I can get us at least in the playoffs." I don't. I think you got a toss up, man. Like, there. I'm not gonna say Carr is a sorry quarterback. I think that he got the stats. He's made a lot of money. Seemed like a cool dude, but it just seemed like he was always like he wasn't comfortable. Like he was always playing like, I don't think the coach likes me. Like that's what I always got from Carr. Like, you know what I mean? Not if the team, we need to come together and win. It's like, I just want to please the coach because I don't want him to be upset with me and get rid of me. I've always felt that about Carr. I think Jimmy G, like I said, he's a winner. Even when they think that he's not doing as he should, or like people say they don't like him, he's still winning games. He still end up winning games. You know what I mean? And I think this is different. I think him and Josh is probably going to hopefully come together, and they're going to be able to build some type of winning system or winning situation with the Raiders because he was in that system. You know what I mean? So hopefully it can work out, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It seems like everybody don't like Jimmy G. I ain't heard too many people say they like him, but hey, the Patriots seem like the Patriots, they've done him well. You know what I mean? He got traded to San Francisco, got a big contract. You know what I mean? And now, last year, I'm guessing a lot of people didn't want him. You know what I mean? It's probably why they didn't let him go just yet. And he finally got to a place where somebody wanted him. So shout out to him. What is it, like 3 years?
3 years.
It's not it's not a lot of contract.
It's
not a big contract.
34 guaranteed. Yeah.
He gets hurt a lot. That's really the only thing I got against Jimmy G.
Right.
I'm a Jimmy G fan. I like him. I do think that Derek Carr throws a better ball than Jimmy G.
Yeah, me too.
Jimmy G does have some better wheels than Derek Carr. That might be because of the broken leg he suffered like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, it's just the injuries. Derek Carr gets hurt, but it's just Jimmy G. It feels like he's guaranteed to miss 5 games a year.
Yeah.
He got to leave the porn stars alone.
Yeah. But this just remind me of the meme, the one where the guy is wearing a shirt and he gets the same shirt as a gift. I like the thing about it. Jimmy G, like he's a great regular season quarterback. So I can see them being a double digit win team, with that. But that's another one where you think to yourself in that division, like, is he going to be able to, run with Justin Herbert? Is he going to run with Patrick Mahomes? Russell Wilson, dare I say that as well? But this division is going to be really tricky for him. I can see it in San Francisco. San Francisco is a little bit different. It's not as quarterback centric as the AFC West is.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see, like you say, that reuniting with Josh McDaniels. I think that could be, somewhat of a good thing for him. But like I can see them having some success in the regular season, and then maybe kind of faltering in the playoffs. So where Jimmy G has been, he has had the best record playoff wise, but I mean he's been great from a regular season perspective. I don't know if he's going to be, like you said. I think Carr's maybe a better quarterback, but I think Jimmy G is a good quarterback. It's almost like 1A, 1C, or 1D. Like they're on the same tier. I think Derek Carr's a little bit better, but I think they'll probably have a little bit more success. Which with the Raiders, what can you really quantify as success? Like,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, so in this case, where maybe they'll win 9 games, maybe they'll win 10 or 11 games compared to the previous seasons or what have you. So, I mean, I understand the move, and it's a very cheaper deal.
Yeah,
so,
financially, great move.
It's almost like getting the store brand version of a product. You paying top dollar for the top brand that was Derek Carr.
Right.
Yeah, you get the generic brand, still got the same great taste, same same type of nutritional value. Well, if it is nutritional value, but it's the same. Less calories. I put it that way.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
It's like saying, "Hey, try us. We're not as expensive, but we're the same. And if you don't like it, don't worry about it. you could just let us go." You know what I mean?
Yeah. That 34 million,
yeah. And really, he's going to go, and he's going to have to. That's what I was saying. When more I look into what we were talking about today, it's like there's a lot of contracts where people are small. They got to prove themselves. So there's a possibility they can make more money, but they went on ahead and signed to say, "Hey, well, if you prove yourself, then we'll give you a bigger contract." You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like you said, now with everything, you got to be smart about those type of deals, because you think to yourself, like, you just like this case, this is a perfect deal where, hey, I mean, you're only paying him $34 million. I mean, hell, your boy, Daniel Jones was getting like 40.
Right.
So
41 and a half.
41, right. So it's just like you think to yourself, like, okay, I'm getting him, and that money, that 34 is guaranteed. So it's like, I'll just take the guarantee. So it's like, that's at least that's what they have to give him, and that's it's crazy to say that, but that's like kind of chump change now in the NFL economy, especially for a starting quarterback. For you to get him for that type of price tag is a pretty good bargain.
Do you think he just did that because of Josh McDaniels? That they got him for cheap?
Well, you talking about why Jimmy G went to Vegas?
Yeah. Do you think that he did that because him and Josh, he can come? He said, "Well, I'll sign this here, and then 3 years, give me this guaranteed," and and because of Josh McDaniels. Yeah,
and I think it's a good spot for him too. I think even more so like the fit with him and McDaniels, but I think this Vegas team is a legitimate shot. I think this team could be, like I said, I don't necessarily think he can necessarily run with Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes head to head, but maybe Russell Wilson, So he got a shot. I mean, Right, and that's kind of being generous. Because I think Russell Wilson may be back this year.
Could you think he could have went anywhere else and made more money? That's one of the questions I'm asking.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think.
Damn, Jimmy G went to the Super Bowl.
He gets hurt, like I said,
and that's the thing. Like right, this one, because even with this, you think about it, this would have been a great opportunity. Because honestly, if he would have came back quiet as kept, San Francisco 49ers would have been in the Super Bowl. Because honestly, if the 49ers had a quarterback in that second half.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Okay. I think that's some North NFC East stuff going on here. I need to stop.
No,
both of you. Listen to y'all. Both of y'all. I'll be shaming yourself.
Look, shoot.
He'd be the worst quarterback in the NFC East. I'll tell you that.
Right, but that's the thing where. No, I'm just being serious. You can't if you're down. It was down by like 14, and in Philly, I already knew you were down a quarterback, so it was like, why not? So, yeah, for sure. Shoot, you mess around, do that same thing this year. Mess around, have Sam Darnold taking you to the Super Bowl, but
Sam Darnold.
Let Sam Darnold would have been in that position, that predicament. He wouldn't have folded.
Sam Darnold looked like Frankenstein before he became Frankenstein. My bad.
But shout out to Sam Darnold. Well, we might talk about him in the later portion of tonight's podcast. So he might come on one of our lists. I'm just saying. I don't know. Right. So we're going to talk about our let's just talk about, obviously this has been very fluid the last few days, but what has been the best offseason acquisition? It could be one, it could be two, whatever you look at as like one of the best acquisitions so far. Bars, what you got?
I mean, my real answer is Aaron Rodgers, but I've heard enough about him, so I'm done talking about him.
Right.
But my secondary answer is I'm going to say is I think he was one of the first signings of free agency, and that's Javon Hargrave. I think he was a great signing. He provides something to that interior line that San Francisco hasn't had since they traded DeForest Buckner to the Colts. And you know how the 49ers run. It's all about that defensive line and that pass rush. And that interior was something they were missing. And before you hopped on, Maui, I was just telling Coach how that's just how the league is turning now. It's all about interior line. The interior line is almost just as important as edge rusher because it's no longer just your mom and pop interior linemen where you just fill in the gap, stop the run, do whatever you can, disrupt the run. No, these guys are going after the quarterback, and there's some freakish athletes who are now taking double teams. Aaron Donald set the table for him, and it just seems like this price tag keeps going higher and higher. So for one of the best defensive tackles in the league, the contract they got him at, I think it's just doesn't get better. And he's going to bring the 49ers. Think about it. You pull him away from the Eagles, who was your number one competitor in the NFC, and now he's on your team. It's right. Benefits on the field, off the field, everywhere. It's just a great signing, in my opinion.
Right. Aaron Donald walked so Daron Payne can fly. So
No, go ahead.
No, you go, Mal.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it simple. I felt like what we already talked about. I got some sleepers that I want to keep him. You know what I mean, for the next one. But definitely what you said, Bars. But I think that I don't know, man. That I just really like that Bears trade with DJ Moore going there. I really do. You know what I'm saying? And once I really looked and I was like, because I like Fields, I was like, I really like that setup. And then putting Claypool over there, Mr. Dropper. I'm always dropping the ball, that guy, because he can't deal with that pressure being number one. I get it. But I really like that one.
And now he goes back, he'll go back to his natural spot being the two. So I think that's going to be great for him.
Like, I wanted to say Waller too, you know what I'm saying? Because of I like DJ. I like DJ. I think DJ is I really did. I've never been negative. When I saw DJ play up against, I think it was Alex Smith. It's the first time I actually saw him play. And I was like, yo, he's a big boy. You know what I mean? I mean, he was running all over the place. But I like DJ. So I think with this, getting Waller, a lot of play action, the 2 tight ends. I just feel like, it's a lot of Bill Belichick things going around the league. You know what I mean? And I felt like with those 2 tight ends setups, it opens the door with a lot, So that's what I said. But, I got a couple for the next one.
So I agree with you, Bars. I think
Yeah.
I think as far as the Hargrave move, I think
Right.
that's another one where there could be a pendulum swing when it comes to the NFC Championship game again in this potential this year. And like you said, that's weird. Well, that's the thing that San Francisco has been lacking. Like you said, ever since Buckner left, you add that, then you got Bosa on one end. It's just like they're gonna wreak havoc, and I think that's where that's just gonna be an amazing duo there in San Francisco. But I think a move I really love, Tremaine Edmonds going to the Chicago Bears. I wouldn't say the monsters of Midway is back. Mike Singletary isn't walking through that door. Or
Here you go.
So, but I just like him going to that. I think that's a great spot for him. And like I said, and that's going to be a part of that young Bears defense, Matt Uberfleece. I think I said his name right. I think it took me like 14, 15 months to kind of pronounce his name correctly. Eberflus. So I think he'll fit very well in that defense. So I like that. And then obviously Jalen Ramsey. That's another one where Jalen Ramsey goes to the.
Yeah, I forgot about Ramsey.
And then you just think about it. And you talked about it a little bit, Bars, a little bit. We touched on it. You think about Xavier Howard, him, and then you think about Bradley Chubb. You look at all those guys that's in that, and then you just think about that Vic Fangio defense. You think to yourself, like, man, Jalen Ramsey gonna be all over the place. He might mess around and play safety on you one day, a couple plays.
Yeah.
Then he back in Florida too, man. You know what I mean? Like, I know being out there in Cali is one thing, and he back down there, and then. Let me tell you something. Like, they won their Super Bowl, and I wish these athletes, when they go somewhere after they get interviewed, stop saying, "Man, I ain't even trained. I ain't even touching nothing." No, don't say that. I'm ready to run it back. Say that. Don't lie. Don't just because you've been at the buffet. Don't tell everybody. You know what I mean?
But, yeah, that's a good move for the Dolphins. That was a classic case of like, hey, playing defense, because now Aaron Rodgers, but allegedly intends to be in the division,
right?
And then obviously you just look at the success of the Buffalo Bills. You think they're still going to be doing that thing, and then you just look at you can probably have one of the most nastiest physical defenses in the league in the Miami Dolphins, and so. Who are your sleeper acquisitions so far? Bars, who you liking?
I'm gonna keep it short and simple. You know me, Coach. I've been on your show multiple times, and my favorite position, whenever it comes draft time, is interior line, defense, offense, you name it. I like the hog mollies. I love watching that tape. And this guy is actually a former Giant, which is how I know personally how he plays and his type of style. And that's Dalvin Tomlinson. I think he's one of the sneakier signings of this offseason. He leaves Minnesota and joins Cleveland Browns. They got him for a good deal. It was 4 years, $57 million, which ends up being, I think, like $14 million a year, something like that. So, like I was saying, these defensive tackles, their price is just getting higher and higher and higher. And it's just there's a premium, and he might not be the top tier guy, but he's definitely in that second tier of defensive tackle. You've known his name if you played against him. You've seen him make plays. He's almost like him and Dexter Lawrence are very similar games. So he's really more of a run stopper, but he can get after the quarterback as well. So what better pairing to have next to Myles Garrett now that you don't have Clowney there as well? It's just Cleveland needs to make some moves on that defensive side, and I think this was one of the better moves they could have made.
For sure. Yep. What you got, Maui?
I'm staying with you, Bars. I might mess his name, Obana or Corana or some shit like that.
Bobby Oka.
Okay.
Bobby O.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
They got him. Went to Cleveland from the Texans. They got him for 3 year, $22 million, $10 million guaranteed, 89.9 pass rush grade. 268 pass rush snaps. That's probably really what the issue is. But I think he's going to be on the other end of Myles Garrett. I think that's going to be big. But they got him for cheap. You know what I mean? I got one more too, Marcus Davenport. And when I was looking up this situation, it made me understand how they're doing these contracts now, where they're giving 1-year contracts, and if a person they like to prove themselves, then they can get them a better contract. And he's going to, I think
The
team
Texans,
is he
I
going
think
to?
he's going. No, Miz.
No. I think he damn it, Sean. The Vikings. He's going to the Vikings. And coming from the Saints. And the discussion was, he was a big dude. They always thought he has that possibility. He's athletic, top of the line. It's just he gets hurt a lot. You know what I mean? So they're hoping that they can get more than 500 snaps from him, and then maybe he'll get a bigger contract. He can get that 20 or 25 million a year. But yeah, they only got him for a year, 13 million. So I think that would be big for them. I thought that was a nice little pickup.
Yeah, big time. So it's a few. I think first off, Cole Holcomb going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's a great move for Cole going to Pittsburgh.
Appreciate it.
So I definitely think that's going to be a good move on their end. Also, like I said, I kind of teased a little bit earlier, but I low key like this Sam Darnold San Francisco move. I think this is where, in a sense, and this is another one where, he goes into a quarterback-friendly offense in San Francisco. This could give him an opportunity. I know we talked about the Jets, him going to Carolina. This is going to be his second chance. He doesn't have to worry about what's to be the coach now here in Nebraska. Oh gosh, Matt Rule. So you have to worry about having a defensive-minded head coach and Matt Rule. So now he goes to San Francisco, and where we know Kyle Shanahan does the Lord's work when it comes to quarterback. So, so you just look at it, that's a nice sneaky move.
Right.
I do. And speaking of San Francisco, I love Jimmy Ward going to the Texans. That's another one where I love when a former assistant brings some of his guys in. Obviously, D'Amico Ryans goes. He's part of the Texans. So I think him, and then now I think you look at that secondary for the Texans starting to kind of blossom. Now you hopefully, like Derek Stingley Jr. still show some flashes. It's Jimmy Ward is there, so I like that move. And then I think what the Saints did, I think obviously get Derek Carr, and then also bring, we talked about, and then Jamal Williams, talked about it a little bit earlier, because that was kind of breaking news as we went on the air today. I think that's a nice move, especially when I don't know what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara, allegedly. But if those two are on the same on the field together, I think that's going to be a nice duo potentially. If the circumstances happen, if the circumstances that if everything goes to how it is today, then we might have that duo. I don't know what's going to happen with what's his face with Kamara, but we're here March 15th, and we're saying, hey, it's a great duo. We're hoping.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then those are kind of the steeper ones I like, but I think everybody for the most part has made some moves, and I also like. I even like the move that the Cowboys did as far as getting the cornerback. I cannot believe who's the cornerback that they got. He was with the Colts. Shucks, I cannot believe I forgot this man's name. I cannot believe I forgot this man's name. And
Busy week. Huh?
It has been a very busy week, and I can't believe I'm over here. I'm really fumbling on this one. Stephon Gilmore.
Oh, I forgot that happened. That happened today, right?
Yesterday.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore. Yeah,
I know that was a great move,
especially him and Diggs as a duo. Yep. So, but yeah. Congrats to them.
They lost Zeke.
Right.
I'm not worried.
They lost Zeke. They know where he's going.
They cut him.
Nah, they just released him for save like $5 million or something like that.
You know where he probably going, right?
Well,
Tell me.
It's probably the damn Bengals. Watch what I tell you.
I wouldn't be a bad
I
sign.
know your boy. Well, that's right. He got acquitted of everything. That's right. So So Joe Mixon should be there potentially.
I think they were planning on releasing him or doing something because his contracts. So I think they could call him no money.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Watch. You got Chase. You got Burrows, and then watch it, and he gonna probably ball out. Just my luck.
I could see it. They're probably gonna cut Mixon, pay T. Higgins, and then there you go. Sign Zeke. I could see it.
And get him. Get him from a really cheap deal.
Yeah.
I can really see that happening. But yeah.
I was hoping y'all was gonna say no, that ain't gonna happen, Molly.
You talked me into it with 2 words.
But yeah, because and that's interesting, like as far as because now this running back market is starting to kind of close up because now you think we had some 2 big ones earlier, and now it's we really didn't have a lot of motion even during this whole free agent period. Now we're starting to get some moves from the running back position, and like you said, it's just crazy how that position has been devalued as of late. And I get it because now we're more in a passing type league. But I remember how it used to be where you get a bell cow franchise running back, you're set. I remember them days. Now it's just like we getting a guy for $250,000. No, I'm sorry.
Didn't Henry leave the Titans?
No, I know they were talking about trading him somewhere.
Okay.
But I don't know. Hey, what you want for him?
You already lost faith in Antonio Gibson?
No, come on now, it's Derrick Henry. and your offensive coordinator is a former NFL running back.
All I'm saying, Coach, it could be Derrick Henry, but it's also Jacoby Brissett. That's all I'm saying.
Right, that's why I need a running back that needs that. I
was sitting here wondering why you look like you was like, man, what are we doing? And now it just hit me who your quarterback is.
Well, my quarterback Sam Howell.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's gonna be like in week 6, though. It's gonna be Jacoby Brissett beginning of the season.
No, Sam Howell is gonna be week 1. Sam Howell week 1. He's week 1 starter.
Bench which week?
He has no faith. He has no faith or confidence.
Because he showed even in week 18 that he's legitimate quarterback in his league. So we're gonna roll with Sam Howell. We're gonna roll the dice with Sam Howell.
Okay, we've been here before though, but it's all good.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be. But yeah, that's like Jacoby Brissett. But like you said, if you get a guy like a Derrick Henry,
right?
if you get Derrick Henry, you need. Yeah, because hell,
you might go 9-7 if you get Derrick Henry.
If I was a GM anyway, I would have been paying attention. Like he's very physical. I give him about 2-3 years. In that second year, I'd be like, "Hey, man, so what? Henry's been getting hurt a lot. You use him a lot too.
Yeah. So
what would you like to do to get rid of him? It's because he's not going anywhere."
You want that 16? Nah, like you got some picks in the second round. We got some Friday night picks for you,
right?
Because now the way things are going, these guys getting traded for like next to nothing.
Right, plasma TVs. Like, I'm bad.
I'll give you 2 Friday picks for Derrick Henry if you want. But now, I seen that little slick talk. Yeah, just remember we were 8-1. So if we get Derrick Henry, we're gonna win more than some damn 9 wins. Like
you might need to be higher than 500 to win the division this year, Coach.
We gonna beat y'all ass this year, and then we ain't gonna time. Man, but that was oh my gosh! And you talk about some stress. Oh, man,
yep.
Even thinking about that about to give me a headache. But yeah, so we're gonna shift our focus to college basketball. So
Okay,
obviously,
okay.
I would consider this the closed door edition of a golden era of college football where Jim Boeheim has retired. Obviously, Jim Boeheim was a Syracuse head basketball coach since 1976. He has 1,015 wins. He has won a national championship in 2003, 5 Final Fours, 10 Big East titles, 5 ACC titles, a member of the class of 2005 Basketball Hall of Fame, and a member of the College Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2006. And one of his former players, Adrian Autry, will be the new head coach at Syracuse. So, Bars, your thoughts on Jim Boeheim?
So Jim Boeheim, he's obviously all-time great, but the way I see it, no disrespect to the man or his career, I don't think he's in that top tier of greatest coaches of all time. I think he's at the second table. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. He is an all-time great. College basketball wouldn't be what it is without him. If you look at it, he got, what is it, the 3-2? That's all him right there. Everyone knows Syracuse, 3-2. That's it. But the only thing I got to hold against him is how I feel horrible holding against him, but it's how long he's been doing it for. So I feel like his stats are kind of an acclamation of this. You're talking what? I think it's 43 years in total. And yes, he has the win record because of that. But when you look at some of the wins, it's like, okay, he won. He was in a Final Four in 96, and then it took almost, 7 years till he got back to his next Final Four. It's a little weird. He got time that other coaches wouldn't have gotten, but I guess that's how it is when you get inserted into a college or a university at basically the beginning of their basketball program. The Syracuse basketball program is the Jim Boeheim basketball program. So it's end of an era. I feel I didn't shed a tear or anything, but I did feel some type of way because all I've known my entire life is Syracuse, Jim Boeheim, 3-2. I've been to Syracuse a couple times, partied there. I saw the Duke. I was there for Duke Syracuse when it was Jabari Parker, and that whole thing was crazy when it was like Syracuse best year in the last 10 years or whatever it was. But it's coach of the year, all-time great. It's sad to see happen, but hey, it doesn't. The one thing I do want to bring up, it doesn't seem like he really wanted to retire. It seems like he was guided to retire a little bit because the way his exit interview was, "Are you coming back next year?" That's up for the university to decide, and then the university said, "No, he's retired. He's retired." So it's a little questionable. Maybe it was a money thing. Maybe it was just straight up they got over it and they realized what I said. It's just been too long. We need to take this next step. So who knows? But hey, kudos to you, coach, and hope you enjoy retirement.
Right.
All right, what you got, Mel?
Man, you said everything perfectly, man. Like, when I looked it up, I was like, well, damn, how many seasons? How many Final Fours?
Yeah.
One championship? I know he did not like Coach K. You know what I mean? And so no disrespect, man. I know it's a great career. When I think of Syracuse, I definitely think of him. Quick question. Didn't he get in trouble or something like that some years back?
Yeah.
Yes, he got suspended.
NCAA violations. There was a car. Well, no, I'm not gonna do that tonight.
Yeah, we're not gonna do it because I know it's not about that. But I remember that. But what I liked, most people would crumble up, and he really didn't back up. He came. Didn't they suspend him for like a year or something like that?
It's been for
a minute, right? It was for a minute, but
they took away a couple of his wins. No,
I think they suspended him for like the non-conference schedule 1 year, I forgot. It was something like that.
And what I liked about him is he took it on the chin or whatever, and he came back and he kept going. But as I've seen, I just want to say congratulations. Like you said, 3-2-2-3 zone, and I guess that's his marquee. They say he went and philosophized that zone defense, and taught a lot of coaches, taught a lot of teams, how to perfect it. And that's great. You know what I'm saying? And, sometimes coach, man, you got to go. And I know that if they forced him out, it's probably one of the best things for him. You know what I mean? He's been there for a good minute. I mean, come on now. But congratulations to him. I'm going to keep it keep it short. Bars really hit it on the money. But yeah, man, when I think of college basketball, he is one of those faces.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, it's really he closed the door on the era of great coaches. I mean, you think about just look at just the generation. You look at like Coach K. You look at Dean Smith, even Roy Williams to an extent. But these coaches that are programs for, in this case, for almost 50 years. We're not going to see that no longer. We're not going to see those type of long tenure coaches anymore. But I think with Boeheim, obviously when I think about the success of the Big East, he's up there. Obviously you look at John Thompson, the late John Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
You look at just other Bevier coaches in the Big East. So I just look at it just from that standpoint of that it's going to be how instrumental he was in the success of the Big East. Even his success, even in the ACC, was pretty good. I mean, you think about he joined the conference probably. I want to say probably been the last like 10 years. Like, don't know, it's been probably about 15, 16 years since they joined the ACC, and to think that he's won like 5 ACC titles in that in that small window that he was with the ACC. But yeah, this is another case of just the game is different. I mean, it's not like what it used to be. So that's one of those where you just look at it where, it's a new era. Now you got the NIL, you got, transfer portal. So it's a lot different. So, and definitely huge success, hope not success, but for Adrian Autry to be successful at Syracuse and be now the face of that team. So good luck to him. But yeah, great, great career for Jim Boeheim. And like you said, it's kind of one of the we knew the time was coming. I knew he had a succession plan in 2018, but then continued on to play. So once he continued to coach, but the last great coach, the last great tenured coach is done, and it is somewhat sad. It's the end of an era.
Right.
It's the end of an era that we'll probably never see in our lifetime.
Right.
Yep. So obviously, we have the NCAA tournament has kicked off in the last 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So. Fellas, I want to get your final 4 picks. I'm gonna start with you, Bars. Who's your final 4?
I'm gonna keep it legitimate with you boys.
Okay.
I'm not a college basketball guy. I know the major schools. I know the major coaches like Boeheim. But this year I'm not the best. But I got all my brackets in. One of them is gonna win it for me. So I took a good look from the little knowledge I do have. South region, I got Alabama coming out. East region, I got Tennessee because they're always a good bet. West, I got Kansas because you need to have at least one blue uniform in there because there's a stat where as long as you got a blue champion is almost always blue. And then Midwest, I got Texas coming out. So that's what I got. Some of these were a coin flip. Some of them were random. But, hey, isn't that all March Madness? That's a part of the madness.
Right. And as we talked about it earlier, hey, you can look like an analyst on a Friday, but look like an idiot by Friday.
Right.
Yep.
So, who's your final 4, Mel? Who you got?
I got Bama and Marquette, and I got Houston versus Gonzaga.
Okay.
So I noticed when if Duke can't get in there, Gonzaga always can make a way. It's the same thing.
they losing. Duke losing to Oral Roberts. I put money on that.
I actually got that on my bracket.
They're losing. They're losing the first round. Don't let last week in Greensboro fool you.
Oral Roberts had a big upset last year too. No?
Right. Right. I'm telling you, I'm putting money on that, and I'm gonna turn a $5 deal to a steak dinner. So
there you go.
Yeah. Don't let what happened in Greensboro fool you last week. That's fool's gold. So, and I'm like you, Bars. I'm really not the college basketball savant. Like I said, I've only really, obviously I'm a Carolina fan, so obviously they're not in the tournament. And then when we cover VCU, I know them. I know that. As far as them, but I don't know much about. I know a little bit about college basketball, but my Final Four is Alabama. And I said I agree with you, Marquette. I think Shaka Smart takes that Marquette team back to the Final Four, and it's eerily familiar that this Final Four is in Houston. So Shaka Smart going back to Houston 12 years later, potentially, but obviously not with VCU, but with Marquette. I think Houston, and then I got UCLA.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think I had UCLA beating Gonzaga in the regional final. So
Yeah, I put Gonzaga because I know they always got to have a Duke style type of team in there. UCLA is fan favorite, but I don't know. I think remember last year UCLA was kind of soft to me. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of games they should have lost. They should have lost to Kent State last year, and they cheated. I said, see, this is why I don't watch. It's one of those games that you really not watching on an off channel. Yeah. And I said the refs ought to be ashamed of themselves, man. It was horrible. Anyway, my bad.
But if we get a Gonzaga and UCLA, it better match the one that they played 2 years ago, because that might arguably probably one of the greatest games, at least in the 2020s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, was it? Yeah, that was in 2021. You know how the years you think, because I forgot they didn't have a tournament in 2020. So
right.
So yeah, that was 2021 tournament. Yep. All right.
That's
so yeah, I know, right? That's so crazy to think 3 years ago that was the predicament.
Right.
Oh, I'm glad them days over with. So, and this is funny. So Vince Young, it was reported, obviously, it was reported that Vince Young was going through how can I describe it? More so like a bankruptcy. So one of the items that they noticed in his budget that he would spend $5,000 a month at the Cheesecake Factory. Yeah,
ain't even that good.
right.
Had to be the atmosphere.
So I had to think to myself, okay, which restaurant would you spend $5,000 a month on? Matter of fact, let me change this graphic. But yeah, that man spent $5,000 a month.
Yeah, see, I don't get how it's Cheesecake. I mean, I could get how it's Cheesecake Factory because they give you the whole textbook that's like 20 pages long, so I could see that.
Yeah.
But if it was good quality, it's not good quality food. Like even the cheesecake at Cheesecake Factory sucks now.
Yeah, like you said, I can see why he spent $5,000 because of the extensive menu, and I'd be like, dang, like it's like a textbook.
the kitchen don't even be knowing they have them dishes sometimes. They get the receipt like, the hell is this?
I've never eaten there.
Maybe like 10 years ago I would have said, hey, try it out once in a while, but lately it's
different now.
It's a little, I've been a few times, but like you said, I can see because they just got so many different options. Then think about if you include a cheesecake as well, where and if you're bringing a multitude of people, but a month.
Yeah, a month is that's more
excessive.
than a mortgage payment,
Right.
So there's no place that you can see yourself spending $5,000.
I mean, no place. Yeah, I mean,
really?
Realistically, no place I could see it. But if I had to, you forced me to pick one spot. Mm-hmm. I'm a simple man. I'm from Jersey, as you fellas know.
What part?
Me and this corner, North Jersey. So I'm basically 10 minutes across from New York, right across the bridge.
I got you.
Give me something simple. Give me the Goodfellas. Put me in a nice Italian restaurant where they have just as many options, but the food's good. I want my casino clams. I want my garlic bread, mozzarella sticks, you name it.
Great wine.
Whatever, exactly. A good glass of wine. A nice steak if I wanted one day, or a nice pasta dish the next. I have just as many options, but at least I know the food's going to be good. And like you said about Cheesecake Factory, at an Italian restaurant, where I'm not talking about Olive Garden or Maggiano's. I'm not talking corporate. I'm talking about a nice mom and pop shop. That ambience is already there. So I'm good. Get me Nona in the back making some fresh bread and that sauce. I'm good. I could spend $5,000 easy there.
What you got, Maui?
Oh, you already know. Exactly where I can spend. You already know. Magic City. I can see all the what is it? What's your man's name? Lemon pepper. What's the Will pepper wings? If you asked the question, and I was watching something, and I think I was watching another pod, and Jermaine Dupri was on there, and it was Pac-Man and all these dudes, and they were just talking about Atlanta back in the day and how that culture. A lot of times it ain't about the atmosphere; they be going for the food, So when I asked that question, I was like, "Yeah, a month too? Oh, I could easily see that." But if I'm gonna be honest, I'm right now in my life, I'm a sucker for a boiled bay bag. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. With the shrimp, the potatoes,
the corn, the best
and
part.
the legs, and the damn sauce. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. They're addictive. Especially if you go to a place that it's everything is fresh, and you know what I mean.
That's the key word. Everything gotta be fresh.
Everything gotta be fresh.
5,000. I don't want nothing frozen or nothing like that.
Yeah, and place down here, man, they're popping up everywhere, but there's one place down here that it's really showing that we putting a lot into our stuff, and man, let me tell you. And if so do you want to make your own bag? I've never done this before, but of course, next thing you know, it's $400-$500. Oh.
Right.
It's like, well, you said how much it costs with the shrimp and with the head? No, I'm sorry, but yeah, I could easily see myself doing that.
I think if it was like when it comes to a chain restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
it might be like a Genghis Grill where you got like a hibachi style where I think I could do it if it's a chain restaurant where people can identify it. But like it's I think a spot that I really would like is probably it's not a national chain, but it's a chain here in Virginia, the Boathouse. I think I would spend some money on the Boathouse. I think I would just for the ambiance. Like you said, the 5K, it won't be me solely buying, obviously I'll probably be taking people with me. We'll be buying up, $50 codfish plates, all kind of different type of stuff. We got the ambiance by the water.
Flounder.
Yeah, so that would probably be the spot I would, if I could see myself spending 5K, because I mean, trust me, you could dine for 3. I've dined for 3, and it was like $150. So, and that was easy, and then we were getting basic stuff. Just imagine if we were, having some wine, we had some appetizers or like a dessert or what have you, and then just ambiance. Like I can see myself, like just hey, come on, guys, okay, $5,000 tonight,
Right.
So give you a $5,000 night,
So if you really pay attention, we talking about Vince Young, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that he was doing that now or back in the day?
Oh no, back in the day. This is when he was playing for the team.
Right. So I don't mean to be rude. Back in the day, Cheesecake Factory was like.
You're right.
Yeah, this
back when he was there.
I thought it was now.
No.
Yeah, like that's why I said I hadn't been there, but I remember it was popping up, and it was really like a big thing to go to the Cheesecake Factory. I remember delivering wine there, and everybody was putting it on a very, very high scale. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
used to be good,
Used to be real true.
But I know it look like steak, with steak and shake now, but
But yeah, they legit, yo. Yeah, I mean back in the day, yeah, they were.
uh,
Yeah, I remember that because that's when because that used to be like what you deemed at that time was like fine dining.
right. I delivered wine, man. So I remember like Valentine's Day, and it was like a big thing. Girl, he took me to Cheesecake Factory. I had the Gigante.
Right.
Right.
Nowadays, they just like, that's basic.
Right.
You take
You know what I
me.
mean?
Hey.
So when they start saying I got 3 meals for $22, like 3 for sorry.
Yeah, but it's crazy. But it's just interesting that he would spend that kind of money. That is very interesting to say the least. So yeah, so fellas, we'll go around the horn. Who gets this week's game ball? I'm gonna go with you first, Bars. It pretty much is a shout out to anybody in the world of sports.
Man, you could call me a homer, you could call me biased, you could call me just being a fanatic. I gotta give it to Joe Shea, just with the moves he's made so far.
Yeah,
I didn't think we had that many options to make moves. I thought this was gonna be more of a rebuild through the draft and just sign our guys and make sure we get our base going. He's making moves out here to continue being a competitive team. So shout out to Joe Shea for the moves he's making, whether it's trade, free agent signing. He's not even done yet from what I'm hearing. So fingers crossed, game ball to him this week.
yeah. All right, who you got, Maui?
I'm gonna do a little different, man. Usually we give it to somebody winning, blah blah blah. I'm gonna give it to Michael Irvin, man. I'm gonna give him the game ball and send him some like prayers. I don't know what happened, but when I was looking at everything today, it seemed like he got a really, really raw situation. So I'm gonna give him the game ball, man. Hopefully everything can work itself out.
Yeah, that story it really affected me. It really made me upset. It's to this day it makes me upset. I hate what's going on with that situation.
And this the thing. I'm so happy and Living Color's not around. You know what I mean? Because when his lawyer was like putting everything out there, talking to the press, I'm looking at Michael Irvin, and they was like, "Do you want to speak?" And then he's talking like he's playing football, and I try not to. You know what I mean? Like, Michael, this is serious, man. Like, you need to speak like and he was trying to, but he just kept talking football. Like, I know I'm from Dallas. We have this saying and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, like, this is not a game. We don't need to be seeing Michael Irvin, the receiver. It's like, if that was Deion Sanders, we would call him prime. But right now, we need to see Deion Sanders because this is serious, man. Like, you're losing a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? And you're a target. So I just want to give him the game ball, man, because I don't see too many people even talking about it like they should be. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the best thing for him, that he's not getting a lot of headlines.
I have a theory about that, but we'll keep that offline because I have a relationship with this particular entity. So we'll keep it offline. Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
But so yeah, I hate what's going on in that situation. I got so much to say about it, but I'll say it offline, but I'll keep it that way. But I gotta give a huge shout out to the John Marshall for winning the state championship by the final score of 91-34 versus Radford. Definitely huge shout out to Coach White, and then your former classmate Coach Blackwell, assistant coach there. So huge shout out to John Marshall. A great win, obviously. Great to be in attendance to catch those boys, and always a great time to catch state championship games at the Segal Centers. I always feel like a reunion of sort to catch people that have, as far as, just all around town and seeing people. So yeah, it was great atmosphere, even though the game was a dud, but definitely huge shout out to John Marshall. And they'll be playing in a national tournament. So I'm looking forward to see what they're doing. But yeah, man, shout out to the boys on Old Brook Road, so.
Hey, I don't know if you know, but is one of the dudes from John Marshall, do he play on Swagger?
Yes, number 23. Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've been telling, like, they've been shooting that show here. If they get a third season, I'm telling everybody I know whose son played looked like a basketball player. I'm like, y'all need to try out. Maybe y'all can give me like an extra. That messed me up when I said, oh, Puerto Rican kid from
Yeah, from John
Swagger.
Marshall. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, beast. Yeah, monster. Yeah,
Yeah.
for John Marshall. Yeah, that team is stacked, man. It's them boys. Yeah, it's crazy. They got a freshman. That dude, he D1 ready.
I got a
Like,
guy I watched on the
yeah.
R&B podcast, and he's a
Mhm.
producer from Richmond. And the way he started his, I'm gonna send it to you. The way he started the podcast off, he was saying because he's older, how Bubba was such a legend, and he was like, I saw him play, and I wanted to be Bubba, which he's talking about Allen Iverson. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And he was like, so I ended up playing for John Marshall, and anyway, eventually he got into music. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a legendary school, man. They really should do like
Yeah.
a documentary or something for it.
Yeah, man. They are the Highland Springs of basketball, to say the least. So
Here we go,
yeah.
bars. Here we go.
But yeah. But
Welcome to Couch
yes.
Coach Live.
Facts. Facts. And any final thoughts before we head on out, fellas? What you guys got?
My final thoughts, man. Thanks for having me, guys. It's great to be back on a pod, and just there's a lot going on, so it was great to get my thoughts out there. For anybody listening, keep an eye open for Bunts and Bruises. We're making a return. Don't know when.
Yeah.
Started a new job, but everything's we're finally
Yeah.
settled, so we're hoping to get back into the business. Thanks for having me again, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Same here, man. Like I've been saying it for years that I'm gonna get back into the game and move forward and have more. Y'all only if y'all know the process I do, just so I can be on you experts level. You understand? Only if you guys knew, you would give me so much respect. But man, my old co-host, she got us 4 mics. She got us 2 laptops. You know what I mean? And she really, and I got this house, so I got the room. So like, man, I'm gonna really try to get back out there. You know what I mean? So same with you, man. Same with you, bars. Like, yeah, try to do more. Get my thing going too.
Yeah,
But I'm so happy to be back on here, man. It's been so much stuff getting in the way, fellas. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then, it's a pleasure, man, to be back on here, man.
Yeah, so yeah, back at it on a Wednesday. Took a break last week because I don't know, the combine just drained me. So I like, you know what? I need to just take a break this week, just after work, just with a sleep every day for like 4 or 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that combine it drained me this year for some bizarre reason. But yeah. So yeah, man, once again, another great show. So yeah, like I said, bars, you always got a seat on the couch. So if you want to come through, just let me know.
Appreciate it, fellas. Like I said, no place I'd rather make my return.
Hey, bars. I grew up in Jersey, man. I stayed in Jersey for a hot second. I had a paper route at Sandy Hook. My dad was stationed at Fort Monmouth between Asbury Park and Red Bank.
Yeah. You
So.
should have never left. Jersey changed ever since.
I know.
Yeah, so for the Couch Coach Live podcast, I'll follow the podcast anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, with their social media, Couch Coach Live. Pretty much anywhere, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. While TikTok's still here, Joseph is trying to kill our shine on TikTok, but it is what it is. But we're still on TikTok, so follow us on TikTok as well. The website couchcoachlive.com. Yeah, we got some some stuff on the horizon, and just be on the lookout for that. And man, this has been this week's Couch Coach Live. We'll catch you guys next week, and we're out.